So it's, So guys, I was working away and my guys from SVA just showed up, so let's go see him. Thank you very much. Cheers. No worries, man. Take care. This car is a category in. I bought it with the assumption that it was a bolt-on job because it's a cat in. That is structural damage. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode from Salvage Nation. In this episode, we're back on a car that I know that a lot of you guys are interested in, which is the budget Audi A3 8V. There's a lot that we need to get done in this episode. If you remember, just to remind you, in the last episode, I stripped down the front end. The car's right here, I'm looking at it. We stripped down the front end, I found that broken radiator, and I also found some issues that were preventing me from getting that wing panel on the driving side. Well, today is all about fixing that driving side, getting it prepped for the wing, fitting that wing panel, and sorting out the radiator so we can get some water and coolant into the system, and that way we can drive the car safely. If you want to see that, stay tuned, let's get into it. So guys, like I said, radiator needs to get replaced, and I want to give a massive shout out to one of the subscribers who told me to check out Autodoc. I was able to get the radiator that I need for this car from Autodoc following your suggestions, mate. £78, can't go wrong. So that's coming. And then another subscriber told me about drilling these out. If you remember, I had an issue where the whole thing is just spinning. So I need to drill these out. I've got a riv nut kit, put some riv nuts inside, and then I've got to cut this bit, replace this section at the bottom, bodywork that. This is a mess. Before we get started, I just want to show you, if you remember, on the interior of the car, we got the dashboard and the airbag kit completely sorted out. The car is starting, running, driving fine. Well, if you remember, I told you the previous owner reached out to me and he saved me a hell of a lot of time, and I want to thank you, mate. I was looking at about 6 to 8 weeks for waiting for V62 because he was still registered as the previous owner. And I know that I'm going on, but I just want to say this. I'm really happy with the little community that Salvage Nation is starting to build and has started to build. I look forward to reading all your comments, and I want to thank you guys for just supporting me and supporting the channel and supporting my dream and sharing off and having this shared experience of rebuilding all of these cars. But it's just mad that I bought this car yet again. This is like the 3rd time it's happened on the channel, and it just shows how far the channel is beginning to reach. I bought this car from Copart completely at random. I was just looking for a quick build. You saw it, I did it all on camera, and I literally just got a DM. Hey mate, I don't know if you remember. And literally when I look back at the history, he had come, the previous owner of this car has already been a subscriber of Salvage Nation, already been following me on Instagram, already reached out to me. I never knew this was his car. He never knew that I was gonna buy this car, and he was able to tell me all the history. But anyway, because he was able to give me the logbook or the previous numbers, the reference numbers of his logbook, I was able to send off for a new logbook, and it came within a week. So happy days. I just wanted to share that. Thank you all. Thank you, mate, for sending over those logbook numbers. Now, with all of that said, let's get into it. Alright, you guys, as the UK continues to bake under this heat, we're in the middle of a heat wave. I'm still working because the work never ends. And as you just saw, I went ahead and removed that light right there. I went ahead and I replaced this broken bracket with this replacement part, and this area here is ready to take the wing. However, this area is not. I went ahead and I straightened up this bracket as much as I can. Still got a problem where the riv nuts, where the wing is meant to connect, it's just spinning. So have a look. The entire thing is just spinning. One of my subscribers, as I said earlier, told me I can drill this out and get a new riv nut, but I can't find my riv nut machine. So I don't know, I'll deal with that later. Before we get to that stage though, we need to sort this out. So I've removed the door so I can have some more space to work, and we're gonna be cutting. This is the replacement bit that we need to weld into place. and we can just trace around this top edge here, and then that way we can line it up with this edge and cut it around here. And I want to save as much of the original car as possible, so literally just about half of an inch after the damage right there is where we'll cut, just so that we're not cutting too much into the actual car. I got this cut at an extra length so that I've got as much room as I need to kind of like maneuver, but the plan is to just keep it nice and tucked. But as long as I get that wing on, I'm pretty confident that everything else is going to go together like a piece of cake. Alright you guys, so that was a arm and a leg to remove, but I've gone ahead and I've chopped out a big chunk of the structure of the car because the structure of the car was damaged. And Copart has said that this car is a cat's in for non-structural. Copart, I caught you in it again. Not sure if it's Copart or whoever brought the car to Copart, i.e. the insurance kind of surveyor. However, it's Copart's responsibility to check it over if they're putting it on their platform. That's the rant over. Let me show you what I found. And I want you to tell me if you think this is a cat in or cat S. And let me know if you've been burnt. I know that there's a victim support line for Copart victims out there. Let me know how you've been burnt by Copart. I'm going to show you what I found, and I just want to say that I'm annoyed, but I'm not overly concerned because I'm doing this in-house. If this was, if I was a regular customer and I bought this car and I took it to a garage, I'll be a lot more upset because it would cost a lot more had I been paying a garage to do it. So just bear that in mind. Now straight away guys, you saw me kind of cut out this bit, and this is what I cut out. Have a look at this. If this is not the structure of the car, I don't know what is. So this is completely crushed like a Coke can, and yeah, like I said earlier, Copart said this car is a category in, so I was not expecting this. But this section here was all damaged as well. This was caved in. What I did was I separated it at the seams so I know exactly where everything needs to go. I straightened this out as much as it can. Once again, as you can see, it hasn't gone through to the main structure of the body. This is simply cosmetic, and then the secondary kind of purpose is to make sure that the wing is held into place at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the wing, I'm just going to loosely put it into place, and then those two holes will help guide me so I know how long and these two connecting points here, the holes, will guide me to know how long or short I need to cut this, because this needs to be trimmed down. And there's another little section inside. Have a look. I'm going to straighten this out and put it back in, because if you see what I've used to guide me is, if you see that, that's what I used to guide me is, have a look, that's a circle, and on the bit off the offset you can see that half a circle there. So I'm going to use those. So I'm going to use that circle to guide me as to how far inwards I need to trim this piece as well. But Tell me what you think of that. Another thing that I was happy about though, I managed to get those screws out. It's still spinning, but I'm gonna see if I can get a little tack weld on this side and stop it from spinning, but it's still spinning and all the screws have been removed. So I'm gonna put the wing in loosely, line up everything, and then start to trim this piece, and then I can tack weld it into place. So guys, I was working away and my guys from SVA just showed up, so let's go see him. Bonnets, wings, panels, bumpers, SVA. 100 quid.
Just on.
Yeah, I think that's the one. It's got the one at the top, and the one at the bottom is broken. Yeah, which is that.
What about that one?
Yeah, same. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Mate.
No worries, man. Take care. Alright guys, so they've come at a good time. I think it's time to take a little bit of a break. Like I said, all of these nuts, I managed to get them out. That's firmly in place there. We're in the middle of just tacking in this new piece into right there like that. Everything along the front is lining up nicely, it's fitting nicely. I've put that bracket back inside, and as you've just seen, the guys from SVA have just turned up. And one thing, you have to check it before you take it out of the box, and the guy will stay there as you check it to make sure it's the right part. You sign it, you pay, and off they go. So my water ride is all right, and this ride is what we need. So I'll be swapping this out, getting it on the car, and hopefully getting everything plumbed up. Alright you guys, we're making major progress on the budget build. Will it still be budget? Was I ripped off? Only time will tell. However, check out what we've managed to accomplish just now. If you look right here, that's that broken rad and it turned out to be the intercooler rad. Didn't even know it works like that, but yeah, that was broken right there. Went ahead and replaced that. The water rad is all connected. I'm about to fill it up with some summer coolant, the blue stuff, which is a little bit cooler than the red stuff apparently. Actually, if anyone knows what's the difference between the blue, the red and the green, those are the three main types of coolant. I don't know, but this is what we've got in the garage, so I'm just going to test it with this and a little bit of water. So I haven't even tested it for any leaks or anything, so you guys are going to see everything so far. I set out with a plan, and that's all it's all about, guys. Make a plan and execute it. In life, you can, trust me, it gets you a long way to plan whatever you're doing and execute that plan, and then you can take stock of what you need to do next on your next move. Anyway, let's fill this up, get the car running, get the water flowing through the engine and check for any leaks. There we go, we're riding suicide style today, no door, and it's so hot I'm tempted to drive around in that. So I'm gonna rev it to get the water pump engaged, and the water pump will start to circulate that coolant and that water throughout the system. I need to get it to a certain temperature to open up the thermostat, which will then open up the rest of the chambers in the engine and get that water all the way through everything. So now that the car's running, you can see that's going all the way down. So we're gonna top it back up. That should all go down. All the bubbles are coming out the system. There's lots of burps, etc, etc. The fan has come on straight away. The AC should still be pumping once everything is done, and if that happens, I'll be happy. But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys once this is all bled through and up to temperature. Alright guys, so I left the car running for about 15 minutes and it started to overheat. Now, one of the things that you have to do is when the car, like this car, has had a massive kind of leak or broken rad, there's a lot of water that will come out and leave. And when the water leaves, the engine is replaced with air, and there's a lot of air pockets. So as soon as I turn the car off, it's something that I always do, let the car run, get up to temperature, the trapped air becomes really hot, and then you just let it cool down a little bit. And once you open the cap, all that hot air is still warmer than the more dense water, and it rises to the top. And as soon as the water just rose, this was full and it's just gone completely down. So now I'm going to top it up yet again. I'm going to have to repeat this process a lot to get rid of all the air and replace that trapped air with water. Now if you look right there, as soon as I've put in this third lot of coolant and water, after it went down, when the rest of that really hot air had escaped, have a look, it's now sticking at 90. Before it went all the way up to 130 because that hot air is just getting really hot around the sensor, etc, etc. Now it's been replaced with the cooler, denser coolant. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing right now. Everything seems to be running smoothly. Everything seems to be in check. The engine is running nice and smooth. The fan is barely moving down in there, which is a good sign. Earlier it was going completely crazy. It's okay. The water seems to be all right. Everything seems to have just mellowed out. Everything's churning over nice and smooth. And more importantly, I'm getting a nice, steady, firm hold at 90 degrees Celsius. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. And with all of that done, I reckon I can close this bonnet and consider the water system complete. I'm leaving the car running, and just as a precaution, once I switch everything off over lunch, I'll open this up, just that if there's any residual hot air, it will just have a nice easy route to escape. But I'm happy with that, so it's time to close this area down. All we need to do now is finish off this bottom section here, but now this top section is complete. Alright so guys, so it's the next day and we're back on the budget Audi A3 8VBUILD, and as you can see, I went ahead off camera and I refitted that door because we're going to need the door and the wing to help with the measurements, to make sure that that little piece at the bottom that I told you about yesterday, that we get that in the right position to tack weld it in. So we went ahead, refitted the door. As you can see, the line here is not too bad. However, the door and the wing can both be adjusted to make that gap a little bit more neater. But if you look down here, we just need to straighten out this section of of the door right here, but more importantly, this is going to give us the right trajectory and the curve of how far to put that little piece in. So we're just going to go get some gas for the MIG welder, and then we're going to tack weld that in once Akil comes in, because Akil does all my welding for me. I'm going to let him just tack weld that section in, and that's going to be well on course to getting this car ready for paint. But before we get onto that, have a look at this. You remember yesterday I told you I filled this up 3 times, and this is the cover, and I told you once I leave it overnight I'm going to let the engine warm up, and whilst it was cooling overnight I left this off, and have a look, it's gone down a little bit more. So hopefully that should be all the air pockets. I'll top it up again, and I'll just keep repeating the process until everything continues to run smoothly. Now guys, before I continue doing the work, I want to talk a few numbers. This wouldn't be a budget build if I didn't keep you guys in the loop when it comes to the budget. And I want you guys to tell me, is it still under budget, or do you still consider this as a budget build? I still do, but I want your opinion. So far, this episode we spent 100 quid. You saw me hand over 100 quid to the guy for that rad, but that's 100 quid to the total, and right now we're at 3,200 so far spent. That's to bid, get the car, delivery, and a few bits that we bought. Remember, to get the car down to the garage cost me 2,138. After that, I then bought the airbag kit for 500 quid. I bought a whole bunch of parts for 450 quid. The front bumper that I've got on the way is 120. And then the bonnet struts, the mats, off cuts. I remember I showed you, I gave the guy a 50 quid drink. 64 quid for a drive shaft, and today, like I said, 100 quid. So far, we're just over, like, I think it's like 3. So far, we're at 3,200 thus far. Remember, I haven't charged myself or haven't included labor costs into that. I'm doing everything myself, so it makes sense for me. If you were doing this and you're taking it to a garage, remember you have to add labor costs on top. I see a lot of people in the comments saying that it will be different, and it is. It will be very, very different. I'm just giving you my costs, and I'm doing a lot of the work on my own in-house, so I'm not charging myself. And the last thing I want to point out is that still, this car is a category in. I bought it with the assumption that it was a bolt-on job because it's a cat in. That is structural damage. It's not dangerous damage, but it's still structural damage, and yeah, copart kind of took the piss with that one. However, it is what it is. We've got the car, we're here now, we've got to keep it moving. But let me know what you think. Right, let's continue working on the car. We're gonna wrap this up. Okay guys, so it's just a very, very frustrating afternoon. So we did everything, we were ready to tack this in, and as I said, I needed to get some gas for that machine there. Went ahead and got some gas. Had to go to 3 different shops because my regular shop did not have the gas that we needed. Then we've come back, get everything sorted, and then we realized it wasn't welding properly, and it's missing this tip. So it's so this tip is dropped off in the garage somewhere. We've been looking for the last 2 hours, can't find it anywhere, and I am frustrated. I'm super frustrated. Hold on, let me turn the camera around. And trust me, I ain't editing anything out, because this is the reality of working with salvage cars, man. Like, nothing goes to plan. Everything that can go wrong, most of the times it goes wrong. And on the channel you see a lot of highs, but behind the scenes there's a lot of lows, and today is one of them. So I'm keeping it in there.
You lost your camera, fucker.
You lost my camera, sir.
Somebody take it.
I'm so frustrated. I lost my camera today. One of them, don't know where it was, and then it turned, after 3 hours, it turned out the gas was the problem. Now the tip. It's just been a frustrating day, and I know I keep saying to keep it moving, but I've kept it as I've kept the movement moving as far as the movement will take me today. Yet I give up, man. Today I'm gonna take a break. I'm done. Frustrated. So it's a bit of an anticlimax for this video, but we managed to do a lot of work, and I'm still happy. We made some major progress. But stay tuned for the next episode. But stay tuned for the next episode to see how we get on. I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, press the like button. And if you're watching this, you're not subscribed, press the subscribe button. And I'm hot, I'm miserable, frustrated, so I'm gonna head off. So, like I always say, keep it moving. I'll see you in the next one. Guys, thank you for watching. Click here to see what YouTube thinks you should watch. Click here to watch one of my previous episodes. And like it said there, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We out.